Kena Bridge of Spirits was released on September 21st, 2021 for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and on the PC via exclusively on the Epic Game Store. Kena Bridge of Spirits is an action-adventure game developed and published by Ember Labs, and is their first game created by them. This review will be split into 3 separate categories: graphic performance, gameplay, pros and cons, and then finally, in my opinion, if it is worth it in 2022. Full disclaimer, I play this on a PC, so your performance may vary depending on the system you are using. The first category I will talk about is performance. I have a pretty strong PC with an RTX 3070 and a Ryzen 5 5600, and I play the game at 1440p with optimized settings, which is shown on screen. It is a fairly demanding title, and lowering the graphic settings obviously gives you more performance, but I would highly recommend it because there's a very small visual difference between the settings. With these settings on screen, I would hover around 100 FPS and get no lower than 85 FPS and get as high as 115. If you're struggling to get FPS, a tip for increasing it would be to drop your shadow quality down, because in my experience, it is a very demanding setting and it gained me 20% more FPS dropping it to a lower quality. Another setting that could be dropped down to a lower quality is ambient occlusion and volumetric fog. As always, it is important to go in the settings and tweak it the way you want it to get the target FPS that you are looking for. Next, I will talk about gameplay. Kena Bridge of Spirits has a pretty basic combat system. It has a light attack and a heavy attack and a block, which is a shield. You also have these creatures with you called the Rot that accompany you on your journey. In addition, there are also something called Rot points that you will attain in combat, and when you have a full Rot point, you are able to use the Rot to help distract the enemy, or to give you time to breathe, or you can use them to gain health from these flower-looking things spread around the world. As you increase your Rot level by finding Rot creatures around the world and progressing through the game, you are able to learn new abilities that are stronger than your base light and heavy attacks, but use a Rot point when you use them. As you progress through the game, you will acquire a bow and a bomb that can be used in combat, and the bomb is also used to blow objects to larger sizes to get to various points on the map. The boss fights at some points were challenging, and I had to try multiple times to defeat them. There are puzzles in the game that are not very complex, but me being someone that plays games with hardly any puzzles, I struggle to solve them and would have to look for solutions on YouTube. If you are used to that type of games, it will most likely be extremely easy for you to solve them. Now let's talk about the biggest pro of Kena Bridge of Spirits. The greatest part of this game, in my opinion, is the art style and the lighting. There are some scenes that look absolutely fantastic, especially in the beginning of the game, that I was truly shocked and amazed by how good they looked. The music in this game is also fantastic. A major con that I felt in the game was the upgrade system. The abilities were not extremely unique and were very similar from each other. The enemy variety was also lacking, but as you progress through the game, the bosses get more unique and varying attack methods. Another nitpicky thing that I did not like was the use of the blue crystals that you collect during the game. These crystals were used to buy hats for your rock creatures that accompany you on your journey. I wish there was other stuff that you could buy from the vendor carts, such as character or weapon skins. To answer the question of the title of the video, I would say yes. Kena Bridge of Spirits is worth the $40 price tag, and even more worth it if you find it on sale. I think what Ember Lab did with Kena Bridge of Spirits on their first go of making a game is truly spectacular, and I will be looking forward to what they will do next. I'm still very new to YouTube, and I would appreciate the feedback, whether negative or positive. If you like the video, consider subscribing, liking, or commenting. This has been Kruger Games, and I hope to see you in the next video.